Good morning, all of you. You are welcome for today's webinar on establishing a new SAP environment with PBSS on AWS. Let me give you an announcement before we start. If you have any questions during the sessions, please be good enough to send it to chat box, which will be answered at the end of the session. Okay, let me introduce speakers for today's session. I am Ajit Pereira, Chief Operating Officer of Perfect Business Solution Services Private Limited. I'm representing today PBSS as well as SAP. And we have today Mr. Ganesh Shoni from India, who is Partner Solutions Architect, Amazon Web Services, India. Welcome all of you once again. Let's just proceed. For today, there are three partners for the session. PBSS is a Sri Lankan ICT company, as we all know, and who has been appointed as a gold partner by SAP, a global giant in ERP industry. And PBSS is joining hands with another global partner, AWS, who is providing cloud services all around the world. So with these three partners, today we are going to share with you what we are going to do in the future for our existing as well as potential SAP customers. Just to introduce you about the PBSS, PBSS is a group of companies and it has already branched out to UAE as well as Maldives. And also we are doing some of our projects in USA as well as Australia. Also it has a leisure arm of activities. It operates 2 holiday bungalows in Sri Lanka. And PBSS is a matured company of 18 years old with 100+ employees. And we are certified with quality management system of ISA 9001-2015. We have been an award-winning company for the last decade, locally as well as internationally. We have already completed 650+ customer implementations, altogether with ERPs, accounting, HR solutions, and out of that 300+ are ERP implementations. So we are the most experienced ERP implementation partner in Sri Lanka who has implemented this number of ERPs. Because of that, we have industry experience in different business domains and wherever we have implemented different ERPs. This is our senior management team. Dr. Madhura Gamanayaka, founder, chairman and managing director of PBSS, who has been in the industry for 25 years, who has the experience in software, hardware, and ERP environments. And Mrs. Anjana Vijay Singh, our chief executive officer, who has the commercial experience plus industry experience of ERP implementations over 20 years. I'm Ajit Pereira, who has joined hands with the senior management team, and I have industry commercial experience of different functionalities and different industries over 25 years. With that, we hope to take this company forward. Let me introduce about the SAP. SAP is, as a company, has been founded in 1972 in Germany. Currently, it has over 100,000 employees and serving more than 440,000 customers worldwide. And our products are already spread over 180 countries. And if you look at the world's transactions, 77% of the world's transaction currently touches a SAP system every day. So this is the level of flexibility, this is the level of globalization, this is the level of spread of this product has been during these last 48 years. Let me introduce some of the products that SAP has. These are the key products SAP offers to the market. It gives their products into 3 different tiers of businesses. Tier 1 products is the SAP S4HANA, which is a large product for large enterprises like multinational, which operates in large number of countries at global level. And then SAP, they offer to the small to medium market segment two products. One is SAP Business One. Number two is SAP Business by Design.
Is it? No, I was fine.
Yeah, SAP Business One is a product for the tier level 2, which offers their solutions to the small to medium market segment. And this can be deployed on premise as well as on cloud. And SAP Business by Design, it is a subscription-based product offered on SAP Cloud. So basically, it is offered by SAP, and today there's no solution from AWS side for SAP Business by Design. And then Tier 3 business software, it is a cut down version of SAP Business One Starter SAP Business One. It is called SAP Business One Starter, and which is for and new entrepreneurs who wants to grow with, who wants to start with a international level software. This offers everything which has a SAP Business One without the production facilities. These are the modules. If we just take the SAP Business One as a product, which is the most popular product, most famous product, largely sold product, small to medium market segment, which has all the modules. If you look at, there are 8 key modules, and under that there are sub modules, and this can actually cater to many industries, many customizations, and this has a lot of flexibilities. If you just look at management and administration of the system, accounts and financials, supply chain management, customer relationship management, starting from lead management, and inventory and warehouse management, production and material requirement planning operation, project management and resource management, as well as certain customizations that you need to get it done from the SAP system. So this is the full system. When you buy the product, you will get all these modules with your licenses, but depending on your requirement, depending on your scope, you can decide what to implement. SAP is not just an ERP. If you look at, it is enabled with different capabilities. It is not only the application, it is enabled with large number of analytics, and it is enabled with different kind of databases. It is enabled with the mobile technologies, as well as it can go on cloud. It's today's main discussion. So if you look at SAP products, can be except SAP by Design, which is offered on SAP public cloud itself. And SAP products can go running SQL database as well as on HANA database. HANA database is a SAP developed their own database, which will give massive analysis, analytics, dashboards, and KPI levels. SAP is also enabled with different mobile applications. SAP originally gives SAP Business One app. To the equal number of licenses that you buy, you will get the SAP Business One app, the first one in the left. So that has activities like approvals, alerts, your own dashboards, your own reports you can view while on the go. So you can manage and review the business while on the go. SAP Business One Sales app, which is on the middle, it is for the field sales staff, starting from lead recording up to the point where you process the order. It can be done. So these mobile sales apps, which are integrated to the main system, and it can operate on a field environment. SAP Business One Service app, the third one, which is another beautiful product, where you have the technicians and service engineers moving out of the premises and visiting customers and giving the service at the customer premises. This is where they can use this mobile service app to take photographs of the incidents and to record the transaction, issue products, and record all the activities that you do with the customer in the service process. So there are 3 service apps enabled by the SAP with their SAP products. And SAP, for all the products, they have a roadmap. Just for example, SAP Business One, the roadmap is this. And their plan, actually up to 2019, they had this version 9. Now from 2019 up to 2024, they have already issued their product roadmap. So SAP Business One roadmap version 10 are supposed to come between 2019 and 20. Despite all the situations in the world, they have already released version 10. So now all the implementations that we do with our new customers will be with the version 10. So this SAP Business One as well as SAP Business One Starter Package for startup customers can be deployed on-premise as well as on cloud. So today our main discussion is how we can deploy this on cloud and what are the facilities, what are the services our existing as well as potential clients will benefit from AWS environment. Let me now invite Mr. Ganesh Shoni, our partner solutions architect, Amazon Web Services India, take us through these facilities and services that AWS can offer with PBSS on our SAP customers, existing as well as future potential customers. Over to you, Ganesh.
Thank you, Ajit. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing fine. Just to introduce myself, I'm Ganesh Sani, Partner Solutions Architect working for Amazon for more than 3 years now. Really glad to present this session in front of you all. Let me start by sharing my screen. Ajit, can you confirm if my screen is visible?
Yes, screen can be seen.
Okay. Thank you everyone. The agenda of my session would be discussion on how, first of all, why you should consider AWS for your SAP workloads, and a little bit more about the services, AWS services that you can use for your SAP workloads, and how you can actually go ahead with your homogeneous or even heterogeneous migration when it comes to SAP. So quickly, before we discuss on the SAP part, first and foremost thing is why that first and foremost question that you might be asking is why should we actually consider AWS? So the first and the foremost thing is security. When it comes to security, it's the most important job in AWS. From the service breadth and depth perspective, we have more than 175 services and multiple features within those services through which you can support your cloud workload, and you can integrate multiple other things with your workload. From the experience perspective, we have been building and managing cloud since 2006, and we have been working with the millions of customers, and that's where we believe we stand apart in market because of this experience as well. From the global footprint perspective, we have 76 availability zones within 24 geographical regions across the globe. I request everyone to be on mute. I hear some disturbance. Unless there are some questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those. So from the, as I was mentioning, from the global footprint, we have multiple availability zones and multiple regions that you can support your workload, and you can reach your customers as near to them as possible with these availability zones and regions. Along with that, we have multiple point of presences wherein you can actually host your edge caches and more. From a machine learning perspective, we have more machine learning happening on AWS than anywhere else. And through this, you can also integrate machine learning with your existing workloads as well. From ecosystem perspective, along with PBSS, we have thousands of consulting and SI as well as technology partners, and we have a vast community of our marketplace as well, which you can check out publicly as well. Also, along with that, Gartner Magic Quadrant has positioned AWS as a leader in cloud infrastructure as a service for multiple years consecutively now. Along with that, a couple of more things from the pricing perspective. We have proactively reduced prices by 80 times up to date. So we believe in giving the benefits of economies of scale back to our customers, and that's where our pricing philosophy comes into the picture. We'll discuss more about the SAP pricing as well, how we have a pay-as-you-go model when it comes to using AWS services. But yeah, this is the generic pricing philosophy that I wanted to share across. I was discussing about breadth and depth of services, but this picture actually gives us, a brief insight as to, you know, uh, so many services we have. We believe in a purpose-built offering. So, rather than going with one service that, you have to fit for all kinds of workloads. For each kind of use case that you have, we believe in giving a dedicated service for that particular use case. I was also mentioning about the security part. So we have actually multiple compliance and insurance programs that AWS offers. AWS actually offers a wide range of certification and attestations covering compliance programs from around the globe. So you can leverage these certifications and attestations to meet your additional compliance programs. Just a couple of examples that I'd like to share. Starting with HIPAA compliance, then PCI DSS, ISO 9001, ISO 27001, and multiple others. So these are just a couple of compliance and assurance programs that I wanted to share along with you. All of these are actually, you can check out these certification and assurance programs online in our AWS website. Another question arises is why would AWS be better than the current on-premise solution that you may be running? First and foremost thing is the cost. AWS actually, allows or gives the freedom to the customer to trade capital expensive for variable expenses, and you pay only for the resources that you consume. From the resources perspective, it allows innovation at a large scale, and you can actually spin up your resources in very less time, and do all the testing, do all the experimentation that you want, and meet your business goals, innovate over your business very quickly. From the planning perspective, it gives you the ability to provision the amount of resources that you actually need. So, uh, from this scalability and elasticity perspective, AWS plays a very big role as compared to on-premise, because when it comes to on-premise, either you end up provisioning for your peak workloads, thereby over provisioning and paying for resources that you might not consume throughout the year, or you end up provisioning, or you end up going for under provisioning of your infrastructure, which can actually lead to performance impact and thus causing a bad end user experience. Whereas when it comes to AWS, the scalability and elasticity plays a major role, through which you can actually provision the amount of resources that you actually need. And again, from the cost perspective, you pay only for what you consume. So you end up, saving cost as well as giving a better experience to your end users. As I mentioned earlier, from the deployment perspective, with just a couple of clicks, you can actually deploy your application among, in multiple locations around the globe, and you can reach your end users in just, in a very less time, and thereby providing very less latency and a very good experience for your end user. Now, coming on to the SAP and AWS Alliance. Uh, 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 just to mention the alliance that we share with the SAP. AWS and SAP have a very strong partnership and a history of collaboration and rapid innovation. AWS actually has the longest experience running SAP solutions on the cloud. A couple of points to share. We do have 11 plus, more than 11 years of experience of collaboration and innovation to enable SAP customers to accelerate their digital transformation. SAP has been an AWS customer since 2008, and AWS has been SAP certified and supported since early 2011. So we do share a very strong alliance with SAP. Next point is why should you consider SAP on AWS, running your SAP workloads on AWS. Running critical SAP workload on AWS will enable you as well as your business to be more agile, cost effective, and secure than running them on premise that you might actually be running currently, or you may have been planning. AWS provide a cloud native service, provides actually multiple cloud native services that streamline your ability to adopt emerging technologies and enable greater innovation and faster time to value, as we discussed earlier in previous slides, right? Uh, Along with that, there are actually multiple other benefits, if you actually run your SAP workloads on AWS, you actually build only once and deploy globally by using the templates or the machine images that you deploy your environment in any region. Along with that, it gives you the ability to deploy your infrastructure in minutes versus weeks or months that you may need in on-premise. From the scalability perspective, you can actually scale to meet demands by adding additional environments or resizing your existing resources on the fly with no downtime. From the security perspective, it gives you the ability to improve your security position for your most critical system by creating identity and access management, basically IAM, which is one of our services. Basically, you can create IAM roles, which will actually enable secure communication between those services without the actual need of copying the keys or the credentials that uh, you know uh, uh, without actually copying those particular credentials. From the operational reliability, it gives you the ability to strengthen the operational reliability by running temporary stress test environments and then decommission those when you're done. So you end up paying only for what you use, and you actually save cost on these stress tests as well. You can test disaster recovery processes frequently without actually impacting the existing systems, which most of our customers actually find quite useful. Along with that, it also gives you the ability to combine your SAP workloads with other AWS service and gain additional values. You can actually collaborate and integrate it with other AWS service. Like you can have, as we discussed earlier, you can have services through which you can monitor effectively your workloads, and actually, there are multiple other things. But for the scope of this discussion, uh, uh, you know just to give you an insight, you can actually integrate it with multiple services and gain those benefits. So we have already AWS has actually been working with more than 5,000 active AWS customers who are running SAP on AWS, and over half of these customers have deployed SAP HANA based solution on AWS, and that's actually massive. So we have already been working with the SAP on AWS Enterprise customers, and they certainly have shared positive feedback with us. A couple of SAP business solution that are supported on AWS, starting with SAP HANA, and then we also have SAP S4 HANA, which is basically a ERP, real-time ERP suite for your digital business that you can use. We also have SAP Hybris Commerce and SAP BW4 HANA. Along with that, we have Business Suite and Business All-in-One as well. You can also go with Business One and Business Objects as well. Along with that, we also have a couple of mobile solutions like SAP Mobile Secure and Mobile Platform. But yeah, all these solutions that AWS support, you can actually check out the list of these solutions, which are available publicly on our documentation. From the operating system perspective, on the screen, you can see a couple of major enterprise level operating system that are used to run SAP on AWS, like SUSE Linux Enterprise Server, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, RHEL, and we have Windows Server and Oracle Linux as well. So we also have a wide, as I was mentioning earlier, you can also gain the advantage of a very large AWS marketplace. You can actually purchase images via AWS marketplace, and on top of that, we also give you the ability to run your own images by bringing your own subscription model images. From the database perspective, in addition to the SAP databases that we discussed earlier, AWS actually supports a number of database applications for SAP on AWS, including Microsoft SQL Server, IBM DB2, Oracle database, and then we also have Amazon Aurora, which you can actually use for your SAP workloads. In order to check the entire list of the database that we support, you can actually check out the public documentation available. Next, I just wanted to briefly touch up on the AWS core services that you can actually use for your SAP workload. So I wanted to introduce you to the core services that you can use for running your SAP workloads, starting with networking and then moving on to compute and storage. So you can easily connect to AWS from your on-premise environment using a networking services. And then you can also use the compute as well as the storage resources in order to host your SAP workload on AWS. So these are just a couple of services that I wanted to give you a brief insight about. Uh, uh, just to let you know, as we discussed earlier, there are multiple other services and multiple features within these services as well as the other services, which will actually go beyond the scope of this session. So I just wanted to briefly touch upon on these services and how you can leverage these services for your SAP workload. Starting with networking services, we first and foremost service, as you can see on the screen, is Amazon VPC. Basically, you can use Amazon VPC virtual private cloud to host an isolated network, isolated private network, wherein you can actually deploy your resources, deploy your compute resources, machine images that we talked earlier, right? You can actually deploy those in this virtual private cloud Amazon VPC service. Then we have AWS Direct Connect. It basically allows you to have a dedicated network channel between your on-premise to AWS. It gives you dedicated bandwidth that you can use and allows you to connect your on-premise to AWS. We also have AWS VPN, which actually gives you the ability to set up an encrypted channel, encrypted and secure channel from your source to AWS. And you can use this AWS VPN to set up that connection from your on-premise or from your company office to the AWS VPC that you have set up. We also have AWS Transit Gateway, and I'm just giving you brief insight about these services. We have actually multiple other services that you can leverage in order to support your workload. So coming on to the next service, we have Amazon Route 53, where you can host your domain names and multiple other functionalities that you can take advantage from. So, just to, if I try to briefly sum up the services that are available when it comes to the networking perspective, you can actually use these services. Along with that, there are actually multiple other networking services itself, like you can have VPC pairing, and you can have multiple other features and services within those in order to host actually multiple subnets. Subnets is another terminology. You can actually host private subnets, public subnets, and thereby you can improve the security part of your deployments as well. Next, coming on to the compute services that we have, starting with Amazon EC2, basically Elastic Compute Cloud. Through this, you can actually host your virtual machines, wherein you can actually deploy your resources. Just to provide you a brief insights, provide you a brief insight about the service. When it comes to Amazon EC2, it provides you a very reliable compute capacity in cloud. You have the ability to control, this particular EC2 instance that you're deploying. It gives you the ability to scale up or down your capacity that you're deploying, as well as we discussed earlier. It also follows the pricing philosophy of pay as you go. So you pay only for the resources that you spin up. We also discussed about the SAP OS, the OS compatibility when it comes to the EC2 instance. There are actually a wide range of OS that are supported that you can make use of. Then depending on that kind of workload that you're going to run, we actually have a wide range of instance types that you can use. If you're going for a general purpose, you can actually go with the D3, M5, and there are multiple other instance classes. Then we also have instance classes dedicated for compute optimized workload, memory optimized workload, storage optimized workload, and so on and so forth. From the processor perspective, we have multiple processors like Intel, AMD, ARM, and other processors as well that you can actually take advantage from. We were discussing about pricing philosophy. It's very important that we discuss about the different purchasing options for SAP that EC2 basically provides you. First and foremost is on demand, which we already discussed, as in you pay only for the resources that you use. You actually end up paying by the hour or second with no long-term commitment. Then we also have something called as reserved instances and savings plan, wherein you can commit for 1 year or 3 year, and you can have significant discount on the on-demand prices. You actually get the advantage of getting a very large amount of discount when it comes to reserved instances and savings plan just by committing it for 1 year or 3 year. We also have dedicated host through which you can launch instances within a physical service that is physical server that is dedicated for your own use. Basically, this is something that you can use in order to address bring your own license or compliance scenarios that you might face. So going on to the storage service, we actually have multiple storage offerings for your use case. AWS actually offers you, if I try to broadly categorize these storage services, we have object, block, and file storage. Each offering that you see on the screen is actually designed to meet a different storage requirement, which gives you the flexibility to find the solution that works best for your storage scenarios for your SAP workloads. Starting with the elastic block storage, EBS. Basically, you can use this for your block storage. You can you attach this EBS volume with your EC2 instance, and you can run your OS, web server, application server, or even database servers on EBS. Then we also have file storage, basically a shareable kind of file system. You can use Elastic File System or FSX in case you're going for a Windows file server. We also have object storage, basically S3, simple storage service, and we also have Glacier for deep archive. You can use this service, you can use this storage offering for storing your static files, backups, and so on and so forth. You can use this. Again, I'm just trying to cover very basics about these services. There is actually much more depth to each service and many other features that you can use. Like just give you an example. In S3 itself, we have multiple tiers depending on the a kind of tier that you choose. You end up paying differently. And then we also have S3 Glacier, wherein you can store your archival kind of data, and you end up paying very minimal for a large amount of data that you store in S3 Glacier. So yeah, this was the basics about how you can leverage the different AWS services, basically AWS core services, in order to host your SAP workload. Next, I would like to briefly touch upon is how you can actually migrate your SAP workloads to AWS. In case you already have an SAP environment running elsewhere, how you can actually migrate those SAP workloads to AWS. So there are a couple of questions that it's always good to ask prior to any migration. like what is the kind of software or the OS version that you're running on premise, things about your database, what's the database version, what's the database engine, how large is the database that you're planning to migrate, what is the downtime that you support, and multiple other things like what's the usable spend on your network connection to AWS, how much is the network capability of your connection to AWS, uh, uh, the SAP software version that you're currently using on premise. Do you want to upgrade it? Multiple other things. It could also be possible that you might actually go with the not only homogeneous migration, but also you can actually go with the heterogeneous migration, wherein if you want, you can change the database engine that you're using, and multiple other things actually that you can do with heterogeneous migration. So couple of common migration drivers that we actually see a number of different business drivers for companies such as yourself seeking to migrate to the cloud. First is the increasing business agility. Some of our customers are actually creating business cases where they believe that their workforce can be 30 to 70% more productive and deliver features much faster as a result of migrating their skills and application to the cloud. We see a lot of data center consolidation projects, especially in companies that have been active in acquisition or that experienced infrastructure sprawl over the year. We are also increasingly we actually see companies looking to completely reimagine their business using modern technology as part of their digital transformation. And of course, any cost conscious organization is always looking for ways to improve the bottom line by reducing their cost. And while there are a lot of reasons enterprise are motivated to migrate their legacy systems to cloud, oftentimes comprising of tens of thousands of servers or even dozens of data centers, they are asking for a lot of questions about how they can do it quickly. So, these are just a couple of trends that I wanted to share when it comes to the migration. A couple of options that you can use when it comes to migration, starting from homogeneous, wherein from any database source that you might be having, any DB that's supported to the same database on AWS. That's basically the homogeneous migration. Then we also have multiple strategies that you can use for heterogeneous migration, wherein you're moving from one type of database to another. Then we also have a support through which you can have a homogeneous migration of your HANA databases, and heterogeneous migration in case you're having a different database on premise and you want to go for HANA database. That's where heterogeneous migration will come to the picture. So along with a couple of AWS services that are listed in the very center of this page, I've also listed a couple of migration options that you can choose in each of these, category. So when it comes to homogeneous migration, you can actually use multiple things in order to support those kind of homogeneous migration. We also have AWS services like CloudEndure and Server Migration Service, through which you can actually perform the homogeneous migration. We also support HANA system replication, and there are actually multiple services like like storage gateway, data sync, Snowball, that you can actually use in order to support these homogeneous migration. A very important thing I wanted to discuss is CloudEndure. You can actually support your homogeneous migration using CloudEndure, which is basically an AWS owned migration tool. You can use this in order to have a continuous data replication from your on-premise to the AWS resources. So lastly, uh, sorry, I think my screen has hung. Yeah. This was more on the the kind of migration options that we provide. When it comes to migrating your workload, both homogeneous as well as heterogeneous. And while this is the end of my session, I just wanted to let you know that this was more on the basics of what AWS can actually provide you. There is actually much more depth and many other things that we can discuss. And if you have your SAP workloads that you want to host on AWS, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. PBSS can actually assist you on giving you the best strategy, best suitable strategy for how you can migrate, and what kind of resources you'll need on AWS in order to set up. So please do not hesitate to contact us. I will be available at the end of the session in order to answer any question that you may have pasted on the chat window. So thank you, everyone. This was all from my side. Ajit, over to you.